Hello, everyone. This is Jeanette Shaliga with VGA, and I am here with Lisa Medina. Hello.
Hello. Hi.
It's so nice to meet you. I don't think we've met before.
No, this is great. I know we've exchanged emails. It's nice to
Yep.
see each other face to face. So, yes, wonderful to meet you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Yes. So I'm curious about you. You live in California, right?
I do. I live in San Diego County. Yes.
Mhm. And like, how long have you been doing genealogy? When did you get started?
Well, I've always loved history. In fact, in college, it was my major for a while. Um, but I wasn't introduced to what is genealogy, family history, until about 12 years ago. I
Mhm.
actually started off by, seeing an ad for ancestry.com, and I thought that sounds interesting, and I was hooked. And so it's been about 12 years since I've been researching my own family's history as well as my husband's. My husband is from Mexico, and so I'm researching, I've done research on his family, which is now my children's,
Mhm.
ancestry as well. And then for about 5 years, I've also been helping others and doing this professionally as well, which I really enjoy.
Wow. So not only do you lecture, you said you help others. So do you take clients?
I do. I do. I have a full-time job and I have two small children, 5 and 3. So I'm very busy. I'm not the fastest professional genealogist. I only take about one or two clients a month. However, yes, I do. And I basically every weekend and on the evenings, that's what I'm doing is working on client projects. I love it, and I love very much that I get to not only help tell stories. That's part of what I try to do is incorporate as much as possible the context, the historical context of what was happening, as well as trying to
Mhm.
answer those, burning questions that my clients have. But I also really love that because of my focus in Mexican genealogy, I've been able to sort of open up this opportunity to those who may not have been able to do it before, just because there's not very many of us who focus on Mexican genealogy. So, yes, I do take clients. I love it.
Wow. And so do you specialize yourself in Mexican, like, so clients come to you when they have questions about their Mexican heritage?
Yes, I do get clients, with heritage from all over, in the
Mhm.
United States and Europe. But my specialty, what I sort of market myself as, if you
Right.
will, and what I think I'm more popular for, is for Mexican, my expertise in researching Mexican family history. Yes,
And that was my follow-up question. Do you take clients that have just non-Mexican questions too, which you answered as you said that you did. Have you
I
ever
do.
gotten to visit Mexico?
Yes, in fact, because my husband is from there, his whole family lives there. So he grew up there in Guadalajara, Jalisco. We're actually going this holiday season, taking the kids down. So we'll spend the holiday there. And my husband usually is very gracious in allowing me like half a day or a full day if I can sneak it in to escape off to some library or archives while we're there.
Mhm.
Yes.
Let's see, how can we talk him into giving you an extra day?
If you can figure that out, please let me know.
Well, that is fantastic. And so you are sharing with VGA your a program coming up on Mexican research about newspapers in Mexico. Can you share a little bit about what we're going to learn?
Yes, absolutely. So this, I think, is probably maybe my favorite. I try not to say that about every single presentation I give, but I think this lecture is one of my favorites because it creates immediately, it opens up so much access to stories and information about your ancestors because that's what newspapers are, right? We're all, I think, if you've done your own family history before, and if you've done it elsewhere and weren't aware of newspapers in Mexico, you're thinking, well, yes, I love going there for obituaries and for just crazy stories about what was happening at the time. And so the lecture I'm going to be giving for VGA is just about that, a really great repository that is offered through the Hemeroteca Nacional of Mexico. So it's basically like their national archives of newspapers,
Okay.
and it's available online. And so I'll be walking through sort of a little bit of the history of that, as well as how to use the website, and then a whole bunch of other great repositories that have Mexican newspapers as well.
That's awesome. And are the newspaper images at the website that you mentioned, are they in PDF form or like, I guess my question is are they searched by OCR? Like if you do,
Yes.
yeah, okay. And
Yep.
and I don't know I'm so looking forward to this. Does the Mexican language, like or Spanish, do they use different accents or anything above certain letters?
Yes, but the good thing is when it comes to the OCR for the character recognition, for example, there's an enye and an N. Like the one that has the little squiggly line on top is the
Mhm.
enye. That's a different letter in Spanish. However, if you just type in the N, it potentially it's going to pick it up anyway as an N without that little mark on the top. You can switch your keyboard over if you wanted to do something like that and be able to put those in, just like with anything with OCR, like it kind of sometimes substitutes letters wrong. And so the more you can play around with it, the better. But the good news is most of the letters match. And so at any of those few that are different, usually it'll pick up the equivalent letter that you have, for example, in your English, speaking keyboard, if you will.
I love that. And then I know I should save these questions, but I'm fascinated right now. Does the website that you're going to share with us take wildcards? So if there's that letter that may or may not have the fancy word that you called it for the squiggle, could you use a wildcard in place of it so you get both?
Yeah, I've tried wildcards on the site. It doesn't always seem to get the results I might expect or hope for. However, it does have a fairly sophisticated set of search criteria so that could potentially, leave a few letters out and say
Mhm.
any of these or all of these kind of a thing.
Love it.
You can play around with it. I've done it over the years and had some success, but it doesn't always quite get me what I'm after. So I use those search criteria instead.
Mhm. And did you obviously you seem fluent, like did you take Spanish in school? Like kind of how did you
I did, and I'm sure some who may be viewing this think, well, I took it in high school. It doesn't mean I remember any of it. I'm very fortunate in that I spent 2 years in South America and was fully immersed in Spanish. And then, of course, my husband, I speak Spanish with my children and with my husband and his family. However, and I talk about this in the lecture too, but you don't have to speak Spanish to do this successfully. There's a lot of really cool tools on browsers that allow you to translate things, and you can learn different word lists and things of that nature to help you get through it. So you don't have to be fluent. But yes, I am. I do speak it and write it.
Well, I am so excited. I'm so sorry I asked so many different questions, Lisa, because I'm already hooked. I'm excited for your presentation coming up.
Oh, that's great. I think that's a good thing. I'm happy to answer them. And I really hope that your viewers are looking forward to it too, because I think there's some good information there.
Yes, thank you so much.